The following is a talk given by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj on December 15th, 2014 in New Delhi, India. The talk was about pastimes with Srila Prabhupada.
Mangolangaya Teganam Yatkitadalandande Segontithanam Parmanam Sri Chaitanya Swami.
Guru Maharaj, Shyamarasika Prabhu asked to frame some questions. One of the question is, what are the reasons Prabhupada said that Chaitanya Math edited the books after 1936? What are the reasons Prabhupada said that Chaitanya Math edited the books after 1936?
I can't say why Prabhupada said what he said.
Why Prabhupada said what he said.
He said that after 1936, some of the books had been changed. And he advised us that for editorial work, we should use the books before 1936.
We should use the books before 1936.
They were in the original state.
Because they were in the original state.
What was the relationship of Srila Prabhupada with Bhaktivilas Tirtha Maharaj? We know something about his relationship with Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Swami. Seems like there was some transcendental competition between Prabhupada and Bhaktivilas Tirtha Maharaj. Because Prabhupada said that I may criticize my god brothers, but you don't have the right to criticize them. What was background of all these things?
As you had summed it up, Prabhupada said that they are his god brothers. And he has a right as a brother. To speak about them. But we had no such right to criticize them. The only reason he was saying things so that we would not commit the same mistakes that he felt they had committed. So most of this is summed up in the Adi Lila Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 12.
So most of this is summed up in the Adi Lila of the Chaitanya Charitamrita in chapter 12.
When the Gaudiya Math, after they stopped following the GBC system, and they appointed one Acharya, who was Ananta Vasudev, and when he fell down, and he got entangled with a Mataji. Then this created a whole separation of the Gaudiya Maths. So Bhakti Vilas Tirtha was in charge of the birthdays and the Srivas and the Jogpit. Was in charge of the birthplace, the Srivas Angan and the Jogpit. And the Chaitanya Math. And certain branches. The Aloni Maharaj
Odlomi Maharaj.
He was in charge of World Bazaar in a branch in Calcutta.
He was in charge of Bagh Bazaar, a branch in Calcutta,
and other certain branches.
and other few branches.
So then some of the godbrothers had made their own temples.
Then some of the god brothers had made their own temples.
So there were so many divisions and subdivisions.
So there were so many divisions and subdivisions.
We heard that in the time of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur.
We heard that in the time of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur,
That a dog had eaten
that a dog had eaten
from the mountain of rice
from the mountain of rice
that they offered and Govardhan Puja
that they had offered on Govardhan Puja
as Annakut.
as Annakut.
So everybody was, a dog has eaten this.
So everybody was all, a dog has eaten this.
No one knew what to do.
No one knew what to do.
So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, where is this?
So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, what is this?
There.
Where is it?
I pointed out that this is here,
He pointed to the place. Is it here?
this place.
This place?
Is this the exact place?
Is this the exact place?
Yes, yes.
He said, yes.
Are you sure?
Are you sure?
Everyone sure?
Is everyone sure?
Okay. Then he took and ate it.
Okay, and then he took it and ate it.
So he was a very dynamic
So he was a very dynamic
personality.
personality.
One time
One time the
farmers, they went on strike when it was the harvest time of the rice.
when it was the harvest time of the rice.
So all the ashramites,
So all the ashramites,
they didn't know what to do.
they didn't know what to do.
Farmers were on strike.
The farmers are all on strike.
No one to harvest the rice.
There's no one to harvest the rice.
The farmers want more money.
The farmers want more money.
So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati went out.
So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati went out.
And he said, this is a field.
And said, is this the field?
What has to be done?
What has to be done?
You have to get down and cut rice.
You get down and cut the rice.
So he said like this, and then down, cut the rice,
So he said, you go down like this and cut the rice.
and then he got.
And then he cut.
When he told Prabhupada,
So when he told Prabhupada,
sometimes I'm thinking that in these temples,
that in these temples,
take off the marble,
take out the marble,
sell it, print books. Since I have these temples,
Since I had these temples,
who stays in what room and how big the room is?
who stays in what room and how big?
What's the position?
What's their position?
All these mayas come up. All these false egos come up.
False egos come up.
So our real mission is to publish books and distribute.
So Prabhupada's mission is to publish books and distribute.
So Srila H.H.Jayapataka Swami,
So Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada,
he wanted to fulfill Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's
Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's
wish.
wish.
And so he published books.
And so he published books.
He published in all languages he could.
He published in all the languages that he could.
I think he did 160 languages.
I think he did 160 languages. Bhagavad Gita.
When he would get some BB trustees
some BBT trustees
would give a stack of books
would give a stack of books
in different languages.
in different languages.
And he took the books.
And he took the books.
He said, my Guru Maharaj is so pleased.
My Guru Maharaj will be so pleased.
He started crying.
He started crying.
You know, next to Prabhupada with tears were pouring down his face.
We would see Prabhupada with tears pouring down his face.
It's unforgettable.
It's unforgettable.
So publishing the books, distributing, is something that was very dear to his heart.
So when Prabhupada would see someone distributing, it was very dear to his heart.
He wanted to fulfill the desires.
He wanted to fulfill the desires
of his Guru Maharaj and the previous acharyas.
Of his Guru Maharaj and the previous acharyas.
Just like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was giving out the sweets to the children of Mayapur, small children, and was winning their hearts. And here also Prabhupada was crying when he got the book. Similarly, Prabhupada also was crying when the children were fighting out with the dogs. What are any other interaction with the local villages like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur had?
When Prabhupada lived in the grass hut.
Well, when Prabhupada lived in the grass hut.
And we were staying with him. Sometimes different Muslim villagers would come to see him.
Muslim villagers would come to see him.
And he would talk to them in local Bengali.
And he would talk to them in the local Bengali.
And he said that for our free prasadam, no discrimination.
There's no discrimination.
Caste, creed, color.
Gender.
No prejudice. Anyone can take.
No prejudice. Anyone can take.
And similarly, our temples.
Anyone can come.
But
when there will be the Haridhwani at the end,
and everybody would bow
down,
and there are a few people standing watching.
There would be a few people standing and watching.
Rich Hindus, reaching news, Muslims, and Prabhupada stopped.
And Prabhupada stopped.
Bow down. And
everybody was like,
oh me?
Me?
They had to bow down. So Prabhupada said, as an elder Indian,
so Prabhupada said, as an elder Indian,
he could do certain things. Which we could not do. What? He was insisting that everybody.
But he was insisting that everybody
should bow down. At the end of the
kirtans.
So he was very busy. And I told him how the local villagers did a dramatic stick fight.
How the local villagers had a dramatic stick fight.
Where they played a dacoit team.
Where they played a dacoit team.
To percussion drums. So like that, he would have some
So like that, he would get some
interaction with the locals.
interaction with the locals.
In the morning when he walked,
In the morning when he walked,
and people would bow down to him.
and people would bow down to him.
And one person bowed down
And one person bowed down
and said that he wanted to join the temple.
and said that he wanted to join the temple.
Prabhupada asked him what he knew how to do.
Prabhupada asked him what he knew how to do.
What did he know how to do?
What did he know how to do?
He said he knew handloom.
He said he knows handloom.
Prabhupada said, that's okay.
Prabhupada said, that's okay.
Okay, you can join.
Okay, you can join.
He said, take first, second, third, or fourth.
He said, first, second, third, or fourth.
Don't take fifth.
Don't take fifth.
Lazies are crazy, no.
Lazies and crazies, no.
But workers, it's okay.
But workers, it's okay.
Guru Maharaj, what is the schedule of Prabhupada while in Mayapur? Like Mangalarati, Japa, Darshanarati, Bhagavatam class, Prasadam, afternoon rest, darshan to the guest, and resting in the night, and etc.
Once the temple and the lotus building was established,
Once the temple and the lotus building were established,
Prabhupada, he would
Prabhupada, he would
take rest around 10 o'clock.
take rest around 10 o'clock.
He would a little after 12.
He would get up a little after 12.
He would translate his books.
He would translate his books.
And then at 4 o'clock, go for
And then at 4 o'clock, he
a
would go
walk.
go for a walk
Maybe 5.
until 5.
No, maybe at 5.
Maybe at 5.
4 to 5. I'd chant japa.
4 to 5, he
3
would,
to 5.
4 to 5 or 3 to 5, he would chant japa
And go for a walk.
and go for a walk
And come back by about deity greeting.
and come back by about the deity greeting,
Which was either, I forget, 6:30 or so.
which was around 6:30 or so.
And he'd circumnavigate the deities. He would
And he would circumambulate the deities
and ring the bells.
and ring the bells,
And then he would sit down
and then he would sit down
and we'd offer him the Guru Puja.
and we would offer him Guru Puja,
And then he would give class.
and then he would give class,
He'd go upstairs, take breakfast.
go upstairs, take breakfast,
He'd answer some mail.
he would answer some mails,
Then sometimes if there was
sometimes if there was
a very special guest,
a very special guest,
he'd see them in the morning.
he would see him in the morning.
Otherwise, normally he would work
Otherwise, normally he would work
until about 11.
until about 11,
And then he would have a massage
and then he would have a massage
till about 12.
till about 12.
Then he would take his bath
Then he would take his bath
and take lunch
and take lunch
about 12:30.
at about 12:30.
Then he would rest for 2 hours in the afternoon.
Then he would rest for about 2 hours in the afternoon.
Then he'd get up, chant some japa.
Then he would get up, chant some japa.
Around 4 to 6,
From about 4 to 6,
he would see people.
he would see people.
6 to 8,
6 to 8,
his room would get fumigated by incense,
his room would get fumigated from insects.
and he'd either see people, he would 4 to 6 open to anyone.
Maybe he would see people. 4 to 6 was open to anyone.
6 to 8
6 to 8
was different every day.
was different every day.
And then at 8 o'clock he'd have
At about 8 o'clock he would have
his dinner.
his dinner.
And then about 9 to 10
At about 9 to 10
he'd wind up,
he would wind up
take rest at 10.
and take rest at 10.
More or less. But probably you can get more exact times
Probably you could get more exact times
from
from Harishori Prabhu.
This is what I remember, like, roughly.
But this is what I remember offhand, roughly.
When Prabhupada was in Bhajan Kutir, devotees used to carry his digested remnants on their head and dispose it of at far off distance. And there was some competition between devotees that who would carry it first. What was the arrangement? As digested remnants, Prabhupada's digested remnants, night soil, being carried on the head and disposed of in the far off distance. And devotees used to compete that who would take it first and dispose it of.
This is when he was in the Lotus building.
This was when he was in the Lotus building.
When the sanitary work was not finished.
When the sanitary work was not finished.
There were all the
So there were all the
things, but no pipes.
There were all the things but no pipes.
So at that time we would run to throw the
So at that time
bucket of
we would run to throw the bucket of
digested
after digested remnants.
But in the grass hut,
But in the grass hut,
he would go to the, he had his private bathroom,
he had his private bathroom,
which was made outside
which was made outside
out of bamboo and grass
out of bamboo and grass
and a village kind of setup.
and a village kind of setup.
So he would go there
So he would go there
and use that facility.
and use that facility.
Guru Maharaj, by the statements of Prabhupada, it appears that Mayapur is his place of worship the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Bombay is his office, and Vrindavan is his home. But Prabhupada seems to be more relaxed in Mayapur, like we see some of the pictures without kurta, topis, just relaxing in his room. So it appears that Mayapur was more of house than Vrindavan. What is his mood?
It may seem like that to you,
It may seem like that to you,
but we know what Prabhupada said.
but you know what Prabhupada said.
He would also relax in Bombay,
He was also relaxed in Bombay,
and the roof of the buildings
in the roof of the buildings.
is sometimes, that depends a lot on the climate.
That depends a lot on the climate.
So in Mayapur,
So in Mayapur,
he came during the end of the summer,
he came during the end of the summer,
early fall,
early fall,
when it was still warm.
when it was still warm.
And we asked him if he liked air conditioning.
And we asked him if he would like air conditioning.
He said no conditioning.
He said no conditioning.
So, because he lived for a long time in Vrindavan,
So because he lived for a long time in Vrindavan,
I would presume that's why he considered Vrindavan like his home.
That's why he considered Vrindavan like his home.
But he came to Mayapur to worship Lord Chaitanya.
But he came to Mayapur to worship Lord Chaitanya.
Now once he had his temple there,
and once he had his temple there,
it was natural that he also was at ease.
Was at ease.
And in Bombay.
And in Bombay.
Although during the daytime he would direct the International Society for Krishna Consciousness.
Although in the daytime he would direct the International Society for Krishna Consciousness.
And he would see to the official workings of the society.
And he would see to the official workings of the society.
But he would in the evenings take it easy and have darshan.
But he would in the evenings take it easy and give darshan.
And in the morning he would walk on the Juhu beach.
And in the mornings he would walk on the Juhu beach.
So because he spent 24 hours a day there.
So because he spent 24 hours a day there.
There were relaxed times and there were work times.
There were less times and more times.
Relaxed times and work times.
Relaxed times and work times.
In Mayapur, he would translate more.
In Mayapur, he would translate more.
But also, he was answering letters.
But also, he was answering letters.
And he was directing how to develop the temple of Vedic Planetarium.
And he was directing how to develop the temple of Vedic Planetarium.
How to make a spiritual city.
How to make a spiritual city.
So, they can say there's a bit of an overlap.
So you can say that there's a bit of an overlap.
But predominantly, those activities were,
but in Vrindavan, those activities
as he described them,
were predominantly
the activities he realized were as described.
The activities
he did, or as realized,
or as realized,
or as described.
Or as described.
While traveling by train, Prabhupada used to purchase kachoris and eat. Over there? Okay. Any other question?
Guru Maharaj.
Yes.
You mentioned that Prabhupada had a vision for Mayapur community, and those days Grihasthas and Sannyasis, Brahmacharis were serving full time in Mayapur community. So can you elaborate what was his vision for Mayapur community development?
You see, he said that Mayapur was the Adoryadam.
It
was the merciful holy place.
It was the merciful holy place.
So that there you could have grihasthas. And as well as vairagis. While in Vrindavan, which was the dham of sweetness.
It's the dham of sweetness.
If any offense made, there's 1,000 times more reaction.
There's 1,000 times more reaction.
And for any good thing done, 1,000 times more reaction.
1,000 times more reaction.
But in Mayapur,
for the good things,
for all the good things, 1,000 times more
1,000 times more
for the bad things,
for the bad things,
not taken much into consideration.
not taken much into consideration.
So, Vrindavan was better for the
So Vrindavan was better for the
renounced people,
renounced people,
retired people.
the retired people.
He had different ideas
So he had different ideas
depending on what's feasible.
depending on what's feasible.
But he wanted to have a spiritual city
But he wanted to have a spiritual city
with about
with about
25 to 50,000 residents.
25 to 50,000 residents.
Sometimes he said,
Sometimes he said,
just like there's Delhi and New Delhi,
there's like a Delhi and a New Delhi,
there's Navadvip,
there's a Navadvip,
and there's Mayapur.
and there's Mayapur.
So the Navadvip can be like the old Navadvip,
So the Navadvip can be like the old Navadvip,
and Mayapur can be like the new.
and Mayapur can be like the new.
Although Mayapur was
Ancient
ancient Navadvip,
Navadvip.
but
But recently,
last centuries, since the British came,
in the last centuries, since the British time,
the rail line over Navadvip
the rail line
attracted most of the people there,
attracted most of the people there.
and the floods of water
And when it floods with water,
kept the people out from Mayapur.
you get the people out from Mayapur.
So this was predicted,
predictive,
and is all the biographies of Lord Chaitanya,
in the biographies of Lord Chaitanya,
that for several centuries,
that for several centuries,
the Navadvip would be covered with water,
the Navadvip would be covered with water,
and then the city,
and then there would be a city
which is raised up.
which would rise up.
So Prabhupada wanted ISKCON
So Prabhupada wanted ISKCON
to build that city.
to build that city.
So whether the city would be based on Varnashram or
So whether the city would be based on Varnashram,
it was depending on
it was depending on
who would stay there.
who would stay there.
So now, since Prabhupada left,
So now, since Prabhupada left,
somehow the demography changed,
somehow the demography changed,
and we have a large number of
and we have a large number of
you can say
pilgrims,
so that the scope of building
so that the scope of building
guest houses
for
tens of thousands of pilgrims
for tens of thousands of pilgrims
is now a reality.
is not a reality.
Is now a reality.
Is now a reality.
And when I was sick
And when I was sick
with the stroke,
the GBC
decided that no housing would be built in the master plan.
Housing would be built in the master plan.
Only guest houses.
Only guest houses.
Such thing.
So
they developed the land around the master plan.
So they developed the land around the master plan.
And there are thousands of people who live.
There are thousands of people who live
around the master plan.
Around the master plan.
So this has effectively extended our master plan.
This has effectively expanded our master plan.
But the housing of the villages.
But the housing of the villages
the devotees outside the master plan.
Of the devotees outside the master plan.
Is not much regulated.
Is not much regulated.
So we're trying to regulate that.
So we're trying to regulate that.
And make that as a very
and make that as a very
beautiful aspect of the city.
Beautiful aspect of the city.
Guru Maharaj, once Prabhupada left, after that, the first 3 years, new records were set in the book distribution. And all the disciples had very high extent of fervor. So, do you have certain memories to share as how that those kind of records were set, which have not been, we have not been able to break those records till this date?
Yes.
Yes.
Last question.
Next question.
He said you have memories. I said yes.
He said you have memories. I said yes.
That was the second question. Because after Prabhupada left, this is Prabhupada Leela.
It's after Prabhupada left, but this is Prabhupada Leela.
We had a lot of devotees living in the temples.
We had a lot of devotees living in the temples.
But subsequently, more devotees were living in houses.
But subsequently, more devotees were living in houses.
Because our congregation had grown.
Because the congregation had grown.
And many of the temple devotees became congregational devotees.
Congregational devotees.
In the sense that they lived outside and they came to the temple.
In the sense that they lived outside and they came to the temple.
So this transition took some time. So initially all the devotees were in the temples. And they gave full time to distributing Prabhupada's books. That may be an overview that had some effect.
And that
may be an overview.
And that may be an overview and had some effect.
Guru Maharaj, in this series of Srila Prabhupada Katha, we didn't hear about the inauguration of Gurukula in Mayapur and Srila Prabhupada's vision on this Gurukula and how you established the Gurukula system in Mayapur during Prabhupada's time.
At first, we were taking the children of poor villagers. Villagers who are either poor.
Villagers who are poor.
Or had lost one of their parents.
Or had lost one of their parents.
Or were orphans.
Or were orphans.
And then some of the devotees came from different countries.
And gave their children.
To the students in the Gurukul.
As the students in the Gurukul.
So there are maybe 100, 120.
So there were maybe 100, 120 students.
And Prabhupada said, we should have 500 students.
We should have 500 students.
And he liked the Gurukul system. And the kids would go and chant for Prabhupada.
The kids would chant with Prabhupada.
Or chant for Prabhupada. And in this way, there was a lot of interaction. They had a swimming pool. Kind of a pond. And I used to go and swim with the kids. We would play Haribol. kind of ball game where you chant the holy names.
A kind of ball game where you chant the holy names.
So in general, the kids were an integral part of the community.
The kids were an integral part of the community.
And the Goshala was right near the Gurukul.
And the Goshala was very near the Gurukul.
So the Gurukul also had
biogas.
Using the cow dung to produce the biogas.
Using the cow dung, they produced biogas.
Hydrogen and methane gas.
Hydrogen and methane gas.
And they would cook with that.
And they would cook with that.
And then the cow dung which had gone through that process.
And then the cow dung which had gone through that process
was more accessible to the plants.
Was more accessible to the plants.
So, like that, there are many details.
Like that, there are many details.
Guru Maharaj, in one of Srila Prabhupada's purport to Chaitanya Charitamrita verse, he says that the lotus building is in the Rudra Dvip. So, is Prabhupada explained in detail anything that Srila Prabhupada mentioned in one of his purport in Chaitanya Charitamrita that lotus building, our ISKCON lotus building, is in the Rudra Dvip. So did Srila Prabhupada explain anything in this regard?
You see these
deepas seem to be
related to the what they call mosas.
Related to the mosas,
which are ancient names of different parts of the land.
Which are ancient names of different parts of the land.
Like so, up to the Narasimha temple.
So up to the Narasimha temple.
To the west.
To the west.
Was known as Rudrapara.
Was known as Rudrapara.
So Prabhupada this must be Rudradvip.
So Prabhupada said this must be Rudradvip.
And to the east of the Narasimha temple.
And to the east of the Narasimha temple.
Was Balaldigi.
Was Balaldigi.
Which is the name of the birthplace temple.
Which is the name of the birthplace temple.
So he said this must be Antardvip.
So he said this must be Antardvip.
That's what I saw him deduce.
That's what I saw him deduce.
If there are any higher insights.
If there are any higher insights.
He didn't reveal that.
He didn't reveal that.
To us at that time.
To us at that time.
But it's interesting that in the Navadvip Dham Mahatmya,
in the Navadvip Dham Mahatmya,
it says which island is on two sides, which is on one side.
It says which island is on two sides, which island is on one side.
And some of the mosas crossed over both sides.
And some of the mosas cross over both sides.
And some are only on one side.
And some are only on one side.
So those would confirm that the ancient Mosa names.
Those would confirm that the ancient Mosa names
had something to do with the Navadvip Dham.
Had something to do with the Navadvip Dham.
And Bhaktivinoda Thakur.
And Bhaktivinoda Thakur.
He said in Madhudram
he said that Modudruma Dvip.
There was a place that the Pandavas visited.
There was a place that the Pandavas visited.
And this place is called as Mahatpur.
Mahatpur.
And there's in the Moses.
And there is the Moses.
Landmaps.
In the land maps,
there's a place called Mahatpur,
there's a place called Mahatpur,
or something very similar.
or something very similar.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Maharaj, in internet I studied actually Prabhupada has poisoned at the last of his time. So how long that was correct, I don't know. Please tell me about that.
There was no proof of that.
There was no proof of that.
Someone speculated.
Someone speculated.
But in Mayapur,
In Mayapur,
the water is a very low level. What do you call that? Low level.
there's low level.
Technical name.
Forget the technical name.
There is arsenic in the water in Mayapur.
There's arsenic in the water in Mayapur.
And there's also fluoride.
There's also fluoride.
So we had all the wells tested,
So we had all the wells tested,
and half of the wells
and half of the wells
were, according to the World Health Organization,
were, according to the World Health Organization,
not acceptable.
not acceptable.
So we would paint the wells
So we would paint the wells
red or yellow or green
red or yellow or green
to help the villagers understand which wells to drink from and which not.
to help the villagers determine which wells to drink from and which wells to not drink from.
Some are grihastas houses.
So by the grihastas' houses,
Some wells, the house wells,
some of the house wells
have high arsenic
have high arsenic
and some low.
and some low.
From Iowa now they sell very cheap, 2 rupees a bottle or something.
So in Mayapur now they sell very cheap, maybe 2 rupees for a bottle.
Osmosis filtered water,
Osmosis filtered water,
which takes out these heavy metals.
which takes out these heavy metals.
So, but during Prabhupada's time, we didn't know this.
But during Prabhupada's time, we didn't know this.
And in all our hair, when we have it tested,
And all our hair, when we have it tested,
it shows that there's some arsenic.
it shows that there's some arsenic.
But, not sufficient to kill anybody.
But not sufficient to kill anybody.
If it really had that,
If you really had,
you get stars in your arm.
you would get sores in your arms.
But nobody developed to that state.
But nobody developed to that state.
And I don't know really on what basis this speculation came.
I don't know earlier on what basis this speculation came.
But that's the background we know in Mayapur.
But
That's the background we know in Mayapur.
that's the background we know of Mayapur.
And Mayapur has a
That Mayapur has a
high arsenic level in the water
high arsenic level in the water
and high fluoride.
and high fluoride.
So, in fact, I don't know if they warned the people now.
In fact, I don't know
If they warned the waters now.
there were devotees now. They warn the devotees now.
Do they? Because they provide the filtered water
Because they would provide the filtered water
if the people want.
if the people want.
And my well
My well
was one of the low arsenic levels.
one of the low arsenic levels.
Still I had it in my hair.
Still I had it in my hair.
But recently they tested it in Malaysia,
But recently they tested it in Malaysia,
And they said, I don't have any heavy metals now.
And they said, I don't have any heavy metals now.
Guru Maharaj, this Krishna Katha and Bhakta Katha is purifying and uplifting and leads to Krishna Prem. We are discussing Bhakta Katha, Prabhupada Katha, in how it is closer to Krishna Katha. The Krishna Katha, the topics related to Krishna and topics related to his devotee, like in this case Prabhupada. The Krishna Katha topics related to Krishna, the Lord and his devotees, in this case Prabhupada, are both transcendental and is purifying the heart and pleasing to the heart and the soul. In what way this is different, Prabhupada's Katha and Krishna's transcendental pastimes?
Accept Narayana, Krishna as Supreme Lord.
People who accept Narayana or Krishna as the Supreme Lord,
but they don't appreciate the devotees.
But they don't appreciate the devotees.
They're considered as Kanishta Adhikaris.
They're considered as Kanishta Adhikaris.
And when you appreciate the devotees of the Lord,
and when you appreciate the devotees of the Lord,
then you're considered a Madhyama Adhikari.
Then you're considered a Madhyama Adhikari.
So, the devotees who have dedicated themselves.
So the devotees who have dedicated themselves
to Krishna's service.
To Krishna's service.
To hear their pastimes, their activities.
To hear their pastimes and activities.
Brings you closer to Krishna.
Brings you closer to Krishna.
And it's purifying.
And it's purifying.
So we would like the devotees.
So we would like the devotees
to also appreciate how great our Prabhupada Acharya is.
To also appreciate Prabhupada and our other Acharyas.
How great our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada was.
How great our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada was.
So, because I was with Prabhupada since 1968.
Because I was with Prabhupada since 1968.
Until 1977.
Until 1977.
So some of my godbrothers and others.
So some of my godbrothers and others
have requested that I should record all the pastimes and experiences I had.
That I should record all the pastimes and experiences I had.
For the future.
For the future.
So, this remembrance of a pure devotee.
So this remembrance of a pure devotee
helps one to achieve pure Krishna prema.
Achieve pure Krishna prema.
Haribol.
Haribol.
So Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
Are there any questions over internet? First American theistic exhibition. So that's still visible in Los Angeles Temple.
So that's still visible in Los Angeles Temple.
So everybody is encouraged to see that.
So everybody is encouraged to see that.
And we want to thank Parneshwari Lakshmi Devi Dasi.
And I would like to thank Parneshwari Lakshmi Devi Dasi.
And Sima Padma.
And Sima Padma.
And Santa Gopi.
And Shanta Gopi.
And all the other viewers.
And all the other viewers.
For their view and contributions.
For their viewing and contributions.
Also, I'd like to thank the presidents of the Dallas Bhakti Vriksha groups.
We'd like to thank the presence of the Dallas Bhakti Vriksha groups.
Who's always president? Who's president on 9?
President.
Who's president on 9? Who is? Sarvajaya Madhava.
Sarvajaya Madhava.
Tribhanga Krishnadas.
Tribhanga Krishnadas.
Nityananda Prabhu, the temple president.
Nityananda Prabhu, the temple president.
All the disciples of
all the disciples.
Tamal Krishna Goswami.
All the disciples of Tamal Krishna Goswami.
And all the other Namahat groups and Bhakti Vriksha groups.
And all the other Namahatta groups and Bhakti Vriksha groups.
So tomorrow we have a class here.
So tomorrow we have class here.
And then on Wednesday.
And then on Wednesday.
I go to the temple.
I go to the temple. Radha Parthasarthi.
So initiation on Wednesday at noon. And evening time here. Class again.
Yes.
And Thursday?
Thursday,
hospital. For the weekly checkup. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama.